Hello again, people. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Hawaii. So we've got some new properties that I'm very excited to premiere on the website. Very excited to talk about here. These are all notable because aside from being in, gorgeous Hawaii, they all, as you can see from the photo and as you can see from the headline here, have ocean views. More to the point, people, we have 6 new lots, 5 separate listings. All of these lots are adjacent. So all these properties sit one next to each other. If you want to buy one, you can buy one. If you want to buy two, you can buy two. If you want to buy all of them, you can buy all of them. But the point is that we have 6 adjacent lots here. Now, I just want to quickly show you guys. This is the Hawaii listing page as it looks as I'm doing this video. They're all marked coming soon right now. Obviously, by the time you're watching this, they'll be live on the website. Whatever the case, these are HI 3111A, B, C, and F. Those are the 1-acre lots, all priced at $8,000. And then we have the D property, which is a 2-acre lot priced at $10,500. Now, there's a reason why that one is discounted markedly below the others on a price breaker basis. I'll get into that a little later in the video. Point being, all of them sit adjacent to each other. All of them are in the Ocean View Estate subdivision. And yeah, there you go. I ran out of things to say. Anyway, if you come down here on the listing page, click on the GPS coordinates. They all have ocean views. There you go, guys. Click on the GPS coordinates. It's going to bring it up on a map here. It's going to show you exactly where these are. Now, before I talk about where this is in the world and all the things you need to know about this specific subdivision, let me just first point out all of these are basically situated between here and here. And if you go to map view, you can see here's the A property, the B, the C. These two are the D property, and this one is the F. And should you need any clarification on that, oh, look at this. We have a helpful plat map down here in the photo gallery at the bottom of the page where we have demonstrated not only, hey, what page you're on and what specific lot you're looking at, but how we have categorized, how we've organized them basically so you know if you did want to buy two, hey, I want to buy A and B, I want the ones on the west side of the road, whatever, that would be these two, etc., etc. I should also mention that we have linked up here within the given write-up, under the property-specific notes, we have links to the properties that are adjacent to the specific lot that you're reading about at this time. I hope that makes sense. Point being, if you're on the A page, we link to B. If you're on B, we link to C and A, so on and so forth. Anyway, back here. All right, so let's first talk about where this is in the world, and then I'll get into specifics of these lots. So if you guys haven't watched any of our Ocean View Estates videos before, basically you're here within the Big Island, within Hawaii County itself, down here in the southern portion of the island. You are in this region right here. As you can see on the map, it is this whole area right here that is carved out, sitting just north of the Maumaloa Highway, just north of the 11, the belt road that goes all the way around the island. This entire region that you see right here is Ocean View Estates. And this subdivision is notable for a couple reasons. One is that you have power and paved road access all throughout the region. Number one. Number two, pretty much the entire subdivision are all 1-acre lots, which is a sizable chunk of land, particularly compared to other subdivisions within Hawaii. It should also be pointed out that these properties all sit very close to the beaches down here. You've got the Papakolea Green Sand Beach right here. You've got Miloli over here in the west, and my favorite one to say, Punaluu, the Punaluu Black Sand Beach over here in the east. Practically speaking, well, let's do this. Let's measure distance. So as the crow flies, it's like 15 miles to the beach. Practically speaking, I think it takes about 30 minutes to get out to any one of these 3 from this subdivision, because you take the car and you park the car, you take your bike, you park the bike, and then you hike and you walk and you whatever. So just so as we're not misleading anyone here, yeah, it's about 15 minutes as the crow flies. Practically speaking, roughly about 30 minutes. But you're right by the beach, you live in Hawaii, and you've got ocean views. So not bad. You're doing better than pretty much the rest of America. Anyway, getting back to the subdivision. So as I was saying, notable thing here is that there's power all throughout the area. There's paved road access all throughout the area. This is important because there's not a formal homeowners association out here. There is, however, a nonprofit organization that, as they raise money, they've been doing a lot of community development activities since the late 80s. And part of that is getting all the roads paved. Part of that is getting power extended throughout the region, which is why you have people living all the way up here and all the way down here, etc. But they've also done a good job of trying to attract business to the area. So if you zoom in here, what you're going to see is that you've got shops, you've got grocery stores, banks, things like that, all the basic amenities you would need all in your backyard. There's also a hardware store down here, etc., etc. Now, let's talk about these specific properties. So as noted, all of these properties are located along Ocean View Parkway between Iwalini Iwalani, Parkway, and Marlin Boulevard. And if you come to our photo gallery on any of our listing pages, you're going to be able to see photos of not only the region, with some things I talked about here, like the community that's basically the base of this subdivision, nearby hardware store, good if you're building, post office, things like that. You don't have to drive 40 miles to get to a bank, so on and so forth. So all of this is very close by. We have a lot of photos of those. Then, as you get down to about this photo, right here is where the community photos start. So these are the property-specific photos, ones taken from the actual properties. So as you can see here, this is Ocean View Parkway. You've got power running along this side of the road. The subject lots are over here, but as you'll see, this is a pretty built-up area. There's power pretty much everywhere, so likely not difficult to get, extended the 10 feet or whatever out to the subject property. It's really running all over the place. And if you scroll through these photos, what you're going to see, there's some nice homes out here, number one. Number two, all these people have these rainwater catchment tanks. I'll talk about that more later. But as you go through this, you'll see more of the nice homes that are out here, more of these rainwater catchment systems, and of course the spectacular ocean views that you've got from the land out here. Additionally, what you're going to see is that the vast majority of this terrain is lava rock, as well as some ojai trees sprinkled throughout this. So in order to come out here and build, you're going to have to get what's called a grubbing and grading permit. It's basically where you rent a bulldozer, you hire somebody with a bulldozer to come out and basically flatten the land for you. Of course, these grubbing and grading permits are fairly easy to obtain. That's my understanding, because pretty much everybody out here needs one of these at a certain point to level or flatten the ground, etc. But that's something that you're going to have to deal with here. Just sort of basic landscaping here in Hawaii. And then, of course, you have these views, which I can't stop mentioning. Anywho, so that's the first thing. I will let you guys peruse through the photo gallery on your own time. Quick thing I just want to mention, we have got about 30 different photos from A, B, and C. They're different than the photos on the DF page, because I'm this particular about photos. I had the guy take 30 from basically the west side of the street and 30 from the east side. But point being, you get a really good sense of what the region is like, whether you're over here or whether you're over here. So these really are property-specific photos that we've supplied for you. F, Y, I. Anywho, all right, so back to the map, because there's something I want to show you guys here. So if you come to map view, what you're going to see is that these two lots right here, so this is the 2-acre property that we're selling for $10,500. As you can see, there's this thing going through it. I call it a trench. In New Mexico, they call it an arroyo. Out here in Hawaii, they call it a lava channel. So what does this mean? Well, if you follow this thing down, what you're going to see is that it looks like people either do their best to build around it if they own land that touches it in some way, or I have heard of some enterprising individuals who try to fill it in when they are doing the, quote, grubbing and grading. So point being, we have discounted this property significantly. Our 1-acre lots we sell for $6,000, $8,000, whatever. I was not going to price these two lots at $16,000. I believe that there is a specific type of buyer out there for something like this, someone who either doesn't mind it, is cool building around it, or the adventurous type who wants to try and fill it in themselves. My suspicion, however, is whatever the case, there's going to be extra expense involved with that, which is why I have taken so much off the purchase price of the property. Now, perhaps you're saying, hey, Hemingway Land, I'd like to see a photo of that lava channel. Well, no problem, people. You come to the deed listing page over here, scroll all the way down, and we have the lava channel photos, conveniently marked lava channel, guys. So, sun was in a bad spot at this day, so you got a lot of shadow here. Point being, this will give you a sense of what this looks like, and then as you go through here, you'll be able to see more of what this thing looks like. Of course, we always encourage anybody who's going to buy from us, whether you're going to give us $1 or $10,000, if you have the ability to go out to the land and take a look at this for yourself, of course, we've got these great photos here, but, obviously laying eyes on it in person is a valuable thing to do. So if that describes you, you may want to go out here and take a look at this, specifically if you're looking at this 2-acre D property. Blah, blah, blah. I will just... I have so much to talk about in this video. I will quickly say that each of these lots we're selling at whatever $8,000 and this $10,500 for the 2 acres. If somebody wants to buy all of these, we're willing to sell all of them for the discounted price of $40,000, just an FYI. Anyway, so oh yeah, lava channel. Let's talk more about lava channel. So I am not a lava channel expert. I've done a little reading on the Google. In previous videos, I had talked about how this volcano, Mauna Loa volcano, which is basically what Ocean View Estate sits on the side of, I have said in previous videos it's not erupted since the mid-'80s. I've been corrected on that it has not erupted in even longer than that. I was told something like the 1950s. Whatever the case, it doesn't go off weekly, and it's certainly, as far as if your concern is about natural disasters, you're going to be safer living here than you would be, say, in Florida or California, parts of California anyway. So if that's something that you're worried about, if it's something you want to do research on, obviously I encourage you to do that. But I don't know much about these things other than what I have learned from Googling them. Now, people who might know something about these things, hang on, gang. If you come back here to the listing page, we have a lot of helpful links. We specifically have these county contact links, which can be helpful for somebody who's looking to buy one of these properties and wants to do some research on these things. I mentioned earlier that there's this community association, this nonprofit. They're called the Ocean View Community Association. They're not a formal HOA. They don't charge, HOA fees. That being said, there is a road maintenance corporation there, which basically you've got $200 annually in taxes for these properties. You're also going to have an extra $150 in road maintenance fees, which is not too bad. Whatever the case, either one of these organizations, they're linked down here. If you have specific questions about, hey, I'm looking to buy some property in your community, what do I need to know about a lava channel? Practically speaking, what problems does that present for me? If I do that, note, I just said etc. So you can reach out to them, you can contact them on the website, and you can talk to them more about living in their community and things you want to know, etc. Also, the Road Maintenance Corporation, they're pretty good about, apparently they rent out bulldozers if you want to get the area grubbed and graded, as it's called. They can be of assistance with that. So any questions you have about that, these are going to be two excellent resources for you. Additionally, as linked here, we have some other things such as the Hawaii Electric Company. As you saw in the photos, there's power pretty much everywhere in this region. If you want to talk to the local power company about what does it take to get hooked up, hey, I'm going to build a house out here. I've heard of utility companies that come in, they hook you up for free because now they've got a paying customer. But if you want to speak to them personally, practically speaking, what is the cost of getting this done? They will be an excellent resource for that. So click on that. It'll take you to their website, which is, yes, right there. Additionally, we've supplied a link for this thing called Waterworks. So, as I was saying earlier, it is very common out here. In fact, it's a normal, everyday way of life. This is how you get water to your property in Hawaii, specifically this part of Hawaii, rainwater catchment tanks. So I had somebody who bought a Hawaii property and then said, on the deed, it said something about water rights. Do I have water rights? I'm like, well, you're not going to drill into the side of basically a volcano. So no, and that's not really a thing most people worry about. It's a thing in New Mexico. It's a thing if you live elsewhere in the U.S., but out here, because it rains all the time, it's a tropical environment. A lot of people get their drinking water, their bathing water, etc., from rainwater catchment. So if you have questions about that, if you've never dealt with it before, it's best to call a vendor like this, talk to them. Hey, I'm looking to buy land out here. Hey, I'm looking to get this thing hooked up. What does this cost? What are things I need to know as a homeowner, etc.? They will be an excellent resource for that. Additionally, guys, I also want to make you aware we have some other helpful links here. I noted earlier the proximity of the beaches. We have links here to all of those different websites. First, we have the Big Island Travel Guide, just everything that you can possibly do on the island that I can't even talk about in a 20-minute video, as well as links to the specific beach websites where you can learn more about these places. So a lot of information is provided here. Additionally, one quick thing I want to talk about. As you can see in the headline, we say relax zoning laws. Let me just explain what that means to you. So I get people who call all the time. They want to live in an RV. They want to live in a tiny home. They want to do things that are considered unconventional, particularly in New Mexico. And so they're not zoned for that. Or if they are zoned for it, you need extra permits, and those permits become prohibitively expensive. That's not going to be an issue out here. Now, that's for a couple reasons. Number one is because Hawaii is a more progressive state where they encourage people who want to, live green, people who want to, I can't think of what the term is, but people who want to live like that, number one. So don't mistake the relaxed zoning laws to mean that there are no zoning laws and you can do whatever you want. It doesn't mean that, but it does mean that a lot of these things are easier to do or the permitting process is more affordable. So point being, if you have really hyper-specific plans, reach out to Hawaii County's Planning and Zoning Office. You can talk to them about that. But shipping containers, yurts, tiny homes, these are common in this subdivision. So those should not be problems for you, just as long as everything's up to code, I assume. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So with all that said, let's talk about the purchasing process on these. So the first thing I want to mention, On all of our listing pages, we have this thing here, click here to read about financing, and we offer ways that you can get money to buy property because we don't like to finance property. I will, however, say that in Hawaii, I have learned that the Hawaii Federal Credit Union offers loans on vacant land. So if this is something that you're looking at, one or more of these properties, and you do want to do financing, but I don't want to do it, I don't want to essentially, lend you money, you can reach out to these people. You can talk to them about how exactly their process works. I notice, I'm choking, we have 10-year fixed rate loans, terms of up to 10 years, things like that, up to 36 interest-only payments with balloon payment at maturity. As I was reading over this, these seemed like not bad terms. So if this is something that you're interested in, also, I should mention $8,000 is not a huge sum of money. So it's likely not hard to pay off pretty quickly, particularly in a 36-month period. Whatever the case, we're going to include that link here on the individual listing pages. It's not up yet, but it'll be down here somewhere, as opposed to here. I will probably, however, add it in the weeks and months ahead to our financing page, just as a potential option for anyone looking to buy this undeveloped land from us in Hawaii. Anyway, so in closing, guys, we closed on this one with title guarantee of Hawaii. So this property was insured. It has title insurance. We are willing to provide you a warranty deed. I will, however, say there's two ways you can close on this property. So I want to talk about those. One is a title company. If you want to close with the title company, that's fine with us, but you will be responsible for all closing costs. And you should be aware that in Hawaii, closing costs are going to be more expensive than they would be on the mainland. So for an $8,000 property or even the $10,000, I would budget, $500. In Hawaii, I'd budget more than that, say about $2,000, just an FYI. Now, if you don't want that additional expense, if title insurance is not a big deal to you, particularly because we'll be providing you with a warranty deed, then what we ask for up front, you should come up here, you click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to the secure checkout page. And we ask you to put down a non-refundable earnest money deposit of $500. So once you enter all the information here, such as the name for the deed, the tax address, agree to our terms, click Next, and on the next page, enter credit debit card information. Once you've given us the $500, basically we'll contact you and we'll say, how do you want to do this? And if you say title company, what we're going to do is we're going to write up a sale purchase agreement. In fact, you could read more about this on our Buying From Us page. So this is how a title escrow close works. We're going to write up a contract. We'll submit it to you. We sign it. You sign it. We submit it to the title company. They're going to do the rest. And at close of escrow, they'll request from you the remainder of the funds. And by the way, if you'd like to see what one of our sale purchase agreements looks like, you can click on this and it'll bring it up here. So if you're saying, hey, I don't want to give these guys money until I see what a contract looks like, I want the contract drafted in advance, and experience has taught me never to do that. You can come here, you can look at this. It's a generic, very standard agreement that we have, one page for signatures. This will show you what we're going to be asking you to sign. Now, if you're saying, hey, I'm cool without title insurance, I don't need that, these guys are going to give me a warranty deed, how does that process work? Well, once again, you click the checkout button, you give us the $500, and then we're going to contact you about funding the rest of the purchase. Now, we're going to cover the closing costs, which in this particular case means we're going to hire our attorney to draft a new deed as well as all the conveyance documents. That is something we are going to pay for. That being said, we want to see the entire purchase price up front before we do that. So if you give us $500, then we go spend $500 on an attorney, and then you say, oh, never mind, I changed my mind. Well, okay, well, that was a waste of everybody's time. So we want to see the whole $8,000 plus the $150 doc prep fee. So $8,150 total, and then we'll begin on that. Now, what I say down here in this little thing here is that if you elect to close outside of escrow, we will expect you to begin funding the purchase within 24 hours of the initial deposit. Let me just explain what that means if that seems a little onerous. Sometimes people will put down a deposit who have no money and they have no chance of ever getting the money, but then they yes you to death on the phone for 2 weeks, say, yeah, I'm going to get the money. And then it becomes clear they don't have the money. And then they lost the $500, which was non-refundable. So, don't do that, okay? It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your money. More to the point, not everybody could put $8,000 on one credit card. Some people need to space out over a day or two because they have limits on their debit cards or whatever. Point being, if you say, yes, I'm serious about this, and you put down $500, we want to see you to begin to fund this, within 24 hours. We want to see another payment, and even if it takes 4 or 5 days to do, we want to see that honest efforts are being made to that extent. And it probably sounds a little harsh, but I've just had too many people do the $500 down and then not buy the property because they never had the money in the first place. So blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I hope all that's clear, guys. I go on really long in these Hawaii videos because I have so much to talk about, and I feel like I still don't cover a lot of it. If you have any questions, feel free. Shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com. Leave a comment here on the YouTube channel, or just give us a call, 702-919-7170. I'll be glad to talk to you about any aspect of the purchasing process. As noted, each of these 1 acres, $8,000, the 2 acre, $10,500. If you want to scoop all of them up, if you want to have a really markedly bigger chunk of land than anybody else in this area, you want to buy all these, we're going to do a discounted price of $40,000 for the entire 6 acres, FYI. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. 20 minutes of me talking. It's very kind of you. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next video.